Hello and welcome to another video with TDD Dominators, and today we're here to talk about the character sheet. Now, in order for you to actually access your character sheet, you can pretty much do Alt-A. Now, for those of you who asked me earlier today, they're all wondering if there is actually hotkeys for you to actually use when it comes to using the menus, just to make things a lot faster. So just to make a short break on this video, you will hit escape on your keyboard, and you will go to general, actually no, shortcuts, and it would pretty much give you a list of everything when it comes to shortcuts on opening tabs, using your ships, or activating specific modules in the game. Keep in mind that you are able to change it. All you have to do is just double click, and then you get to select on your keyboard on which you would like to replace it. If you mess up, always remember you can always click on default and it will reset it. Now back to the character sheet. Now the character sheet, it pretty much gives you a general information of your character. It will let you know if you are Omega or Alpha. It will tell you your character's name. It'll let you know when your character was born. It lets you know exactly what race you resembled by and what faction or corporation you started with, the corporation, the alliance. It even lets you know exactly what's the net worth of your character. Now, one of the biggest features about the character sheet is your skills. So there's about at least, I would probably say, quite a lot of skills for you to train into. You know, ships, science, manufacturing, shield, armor, targeting, drones, corporation, market. The list pretty much goes on. Now, keep in mind that the feature varies upon your subscription. For example, if you are, I believe if you are Alpha, you are limited on the total amount of skill points you are able to have within your character. If I'm correct, I believe the total amount of skill points Alpha players are able to have is pretty much, I would say, 20 million. If I'm wrong, it could be a little bit less, it could be a little bit more. CCP has indeed actually changed it. The other thing that the membership also affects is if you are a Alpha player, you are actually limited on what skills you can or cannot train. And I was also told that you are unable to train skills that is more than 24 hours. So that is actually the downside of being an Alpha player. If I was to become an Alpha player, like pretty much right now, like let's say I didn't pay my subscription to CCP, would I lose my skill points? And the answer to that question is no. I would still retain my 113 million skill points. I just wouldn't be allowed to train any more skills. Now, I was told that there actually is a loophole. So, for example, if I actually pass the 20 million skill points, is there a way for me to overwrite that? So I was told that you can purchase unaccumulated skill points, which you will find out if you have any, which is on the bottom left corner right here. And it says right here you would like to add skill points. Now, as a Omega player, I'm able to purchase large skill injectors. Now, before you use the large skill injectors, keep in mind that it pretty much varies on how much your character has skills already. So, for example, I already have more than at least 80 million skill points, right? So I'm only going to be receiving 150,000 on accumulated skill points. Unlike for a player, if he had 5 million, he would receive 500,000 on accumulated skill points. But as an Alpha player, understand that this can be quite expensive, right? This is about at least almost 1 billion. Now, the one that you would like to purchase is called the alpha injectors, I believe is what they're called. Daily alpha injectors. Now, these are actually a lot cheaper. They're actually about at least 40 to 60 million, and they should give you somewhere around at least 50. Keep in mind, this will only work for players that are alpha clone state, so this will not work if you are omega. But I was told that if you had maxed out the total skill points of 20 million and you could not train any more further skills, what you could do is you can buy the daily alpha injectors, inject it in your character, and let's say it just stops training, right? Then you click here. Oops, sorry, wrong button. You would click here, which is apply skill points, and then pretty much it would ask you how much you want to accumulate, and then you would hit confirm, and then pretty much all the skills you're training would be pretty much be accumulated by the skill points. So for those of you who ask and wonder about that, that's pretty much the way how you would go around it. Now, the next thing that we're going to talk about is character. There is augmentations, there is jump clones, there's attributes, there's biography, and decorations. Now, when it comes to augmentations, that's pretty much implants or boosters. I don't like to use boosters or implants. I consider them a waste of time. Implants is pretty much like, think of it as you're putting a machine part in your body, or you're putting replacing something in your body with a machinery part that makes you stronger. Now, if you want to know what that is, you can pretty much go to the market, and I believe it is in implants and boosters. Now, keep in mind, each implant is different. You can have an implant for combat. You can have a combat for industry, mining, reprocessing, standings. You pretty much name it. You could pretty much have up to at least 5 implants. But keep in mind, some of these implants can be extraordinarily expensive. So keep in mind that if you do get blown up in this game, you will lose all your implants, right? So if you alone spend, let's say, about billion ISK on implants, right? And somebody pods you, not blow up your ship, but pods you, like you're in your pod, and they were able to pod you, right? You know, you're gonna lose it. There's no way of getting a refund. If your pod gets blown up, it's not gonna drop in the container. You pretty much are going to lose it. Now, if, let's say, for example, I want to, I don't know, I want to save my implants. And the way how you could probably save your implants is by pretty much setting up a jump clone at a location. And by setting a jump clone at a location, you would pretty much jump to that location, and the pod that had the implants will stay behind. And the way how you would jump back to that clone is by using the jump clone feature, which you would select, right? And then you would pretty much jump to that location, and it's like a way of like switching to a pod that has the implants and switching to another one that doesn't. Now, if you use the jump clone feature, you will see that you will have the maximum ability to set up at least 5 jump clones. Now, when you are an alpha player, you will only be able to set up 1. Only 1. But when you are mega, you will be able to train up the skill to level 5 and use up level at least 5 jump clones. Now, if you have at least 5 jump clones, keep in mind that the other limitation that you will have is the time variation, right? So every time you use the jump clone, you will not be able to jump again for the next 24 to 17 hours. So please keep that in mind. If you would like to know what skill you would like to train into for that jump clone, I believe it is Infomorph Psychology. I believe that's what it is. be wrong. Ugh, damn it. Let's find out. Come on, Eve. You're gonna go to natural enchantment. Yep, and it is Infomorph Psychology. So you should be able to train it up to level 1 as a alpha player, and level 5 if you are Omega. Attributes is actually another interesting feature. Pretty much what I have used attributes for is it allows me to actually train into skills a lot more faster. So for example, if let's say for example I want to train into Caldari a lot quicker, right? How would I actually do that? So for example, what I would do is I would go to the ship tree. I will go to Caldari. Let's say the Caracal, right? And let's say this is exactly what the Caracal would actually need, right? So this is the Caracal, and I want to actually train into it. But how would I know? Actually, wait a minute. Something I haven't trained into. Oh, looks like CCP removed it. Okay. So it doesn't show you anymore. Alright, let's go back to the Caracal. So let's say, for example, I want to actually train into the Caracal a little bit much faster. How would I actually do that? So first things first, if you are unable to train, if you don't have access to the ship, you would pretty much look at requirements, and it will pretty much give you a list of ships that, list of skills that you're supposed to train into in order to have access to the ship. Now, most of the times what happens is when you don't have a ship trained into, it will pretty much tell you how long it's going to take for you to train into it. So what you pretty much do is you would go into the skill, and you would pretty much show info, and you would go to requirements and make sure that you have all the skills you need to train into that skill as well. But another thing that also can tell you a little bit more faster is the attribute. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is where the important piece of the puzzle plays in, right? So as you can see, you have the primary attribute and you have the secondary attribute, right? And so when you go to the attribute section, as you can see, my attribute section is pretty much balanced out, right? So it's pretty important to know how this works. Now, the one thing that I do like about the attribute section is you can actually mess around with it, and it actually makes it a lot more faster when it comes to training into skills. However, though, the downside of this is that you can only do this once a year. So for example, if the skill takes, let's say, I don't know, how long does the skill take? It takes about 50 minutes, right? Let's say 50 minutes. I don't think it's going to change much, but actually, let's try to do one ship that's like far away for me to train into. No. Okay. Well, perception and willpower for Caldari, right? Let's go with it anyways. So it says right now that it's going to take me at least 45 days to train into Caldari Battleship 5, right? So what I'll do is go to attributes. Wait, hold up. Go to attributes on the skill, sorry. And look at what I need to train into in order to have the advantage. So what I'll do is I'll go to attributes on my character sheet. I click on remap. I will adjust it into perception and willpower. I would have to increase others. Let's say I want to really get into let's say I really want to get into it, and then I'll save the changes, and it will give me a warning label. As I told you before, it only gets saved for 12 months, and then voila, it gets saved, as you guys can see. And then if I go back to the skill, seeing how long it's going to take me, requirements. And as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, voila, it was dropped from 45 days to 38 days. So if you would like to train in much faster, that's actually another feature on how, or another method of how you can train into your ship a lot faster. I had really a lot of friends who was pretty much starting off in this game, and they wanted to get into super carrier or a capital ship. For those of you who don't know, it pretty much takes about a year or 180 days to train into it. And one of the methods that they did was simply by doing this. They would research most of the skills and see what is the attribute that they mostly follow by. And then what it pretty much did was it pretty much reduced the amount of time it would take to train into the ship by pretty much 50%. So they were able to train into a super carrier or a carrier ship from 365 days to 3 months. So this is actually a very useful feature that I alone would like to know, and you as well. Now let's go to biography. You're pretty much just letting people know about you. I am a CEO and life is a mess, right? And finally but not least, decorations. So pretty much you will be given a rank or a medal or a list of permissions, which you will get to decide on how exactly you would like to decorate or set up your medals. So the only way for you to actually get these medals is when it is given by your corporation CEO. You can also show info on it, and you can see who actually gave it to you, and when it was given to you, and whom, and at what time period. If you're interested into actually making it public, you actually can. Sometimes it actually tends to speak for itself for you, letting everybody know what have you done throughout the years. If you are a pilot who is devoted, dedicated, a pilot who is trustworthy, then these decorations pretty much play a huge role when it comes to you joining other corporations or conducting business in this game. Another feature is the interaction. The interaction pretty much will give you a list of standings, kill rates, security statuses, and combat logs. Now, if you are pretty much fighting NPCs, the list of standings will pretty much show here. The lower the standings you have, the more hostile they will be. Keep in mind that once you've reached -5 with a specific faction, the following effects will take place. 1, you will not be able to dock in their stations. 2, you will not be able to use their station services. And finally but not least, 3, you will not be allowed to use specific features. I know for a fact that you can't use their loyalty point store. And I also believe that if you were like, let's say, the CEO, or you wanted to, let's say, rent a corporation office or use the station services, it would pretty much give you a rough time. It would pretty much give you higher fees, or you just wouldn't be able to use it. Another thing is if you end up actually visiting their systems, I know for the main factions like Amarr, Caldari, Galante, and Limitar, if you do visit their systems and you have more than -5.0, that Concord will actually chase you down and try to blow you up. So this is kind of important to know, because if you go to an area where you're actually disliked, it might fall in a disadvantage when it comes to visiting that area. Now, if you go to a location that does have good standings with you, the following bonuses will apply. You would probably get lower fees, lower taxes, access to better loyalty point stores, and pretty much other locations that pertain to the faction. Another interesting feature is the kill rate. I don't have one, but I can pretty much explain to you how this works. So pretty much it mostly works in high stack space, where pretty much somebody has attacked you, and let's say you was not suspect or you was not criminal, and they attacked you. Pretty much Concord will give you the right to pretty much take your revenge and kill them. And you could either have the choice of selling it and giving it to somebody else, and anybody could purchase it from you for a certain price, or you can do it by yourself and try to conduct your revenge as much as you actually can. Keep in mind, you could pretty much sell this to anybody at a price, at any price. This can also be done to corporations as well, something that many other individuals should keep in mind. So, for example, if the CEO was actually caught and the individual was able to get a kill right on the CEO, then they would be able to actually do not only a kill right on the CEO, but pretty much on his entire corporation. You don't have to be in a corporation to get a kill right. You could pretty much get a kill right on anybody for anything. It's mostly used in high sec. When it comes to low and null sack, you pretty much don't need a kill right. You could pretty much just attack a player, because Concord doesn't pretty much police most of those areas quite as well as they do in high sack. Now, security status. Whoa, interesting. Never seen this before. So let's say you have a security status. Security status pretty much plays a huge role. If you have a, let's say, 4.9, you're pretty much good when it comes to Empire space. Now, if you have -5, which is what I was explaining earlier today, you won't be in a really good position, right? I was told that there are people who aren't even allowed to pretty much dock in high sec anymore. They can't dock, and everywhere they go, they pretty much get harassed by Concord. And this is just pretty much a record letting me know like what affected, which was attacking a player a few weeks ago for his procure. So I guess that had a backlash. Finally, but not least, is your combat log. It will pretty much give you a list of all your kills and all your losses. Pilot services is pretty much a list of the Plex or the other features that you can acquire from the Eve store. If you ever purchase any Plex, always remember to place it in your Plex wallet. Skins are pretty much used for your ships. Here is pretty much a list of them. I only have 20. I'm not a skin fan, so yeah, pretty much. Temporary and permanent skins will always be listed here. And finally but not least, my employments will be listed here, which will pretty much give you an idea of all the corporations that I've taken part in and pretty much all the skills that I've trained up to. Well, anyways, guys, this has been a long video about how to use character sheets. Hopefully it has become extremely helpful. If you have any questions or concerns, please leave a like, and I will see you in the next video. The next video we will pretty much be talking about the agency. So thank you so much. Have a nice day. I'll see you later.